Of course I killed Elvarg. I'm no bitch. That's right, I'm a Dragon Slayer. All I have to do is talk to Oziak and turn in the quest, and then we get some big levels. Look at that strength. The next quest on the chopping block is the dig site. I wanted to be able to get to Fossil Island, and this is a prereq. Basically, I dig around, find a temple to a forgotten god named Zeros, and then report my findings. There's a quest called Legends Quest, and I'm going to be working towards prerequisites for that because it will give us a lot of experience when we complete it. So I AFK 50 mining here. And while I was mining, I got some gems, and I want to be able to cut these, so I went and worked on crafting next. I stopped at 20, that at least lets me cut the sapphires. There's a couple important quests I haven't done yet, and I don't really know why. One of them is Tree Gnome Stronghold. All I need to do is find and return some magical protection orbs that were stolen from them.
Quest completed.
Finishing that quest lets me use various spirit trees scattered across the map to teleport from one to another. I can now use this to teleport up to the Tree Gnome Stronghold and start the Grand Tree quest. The king tells us that the tree is sick. We help him uncover a plot that one of his advisors is using to overthrow him and invade. The king doesn't believe us until it's almost too late, and Glow the traitor ends up summoning a demon.
Nice.
Good thing bro doesn't know how to path. That was easy.
Quest completed.
That gives us some good levels, and while we're in the stronghold, we can pick up some vodka to do the Bone Voyage quest. All we have to do for this quest is get some stronger wood to reinforce their hull. We get the apothecary in Varrock to make us a sea legs potion, which is just vodka. One of the sailors thinks the trip is cursed, so we grab a lucky charm, and then we go out to sea.
Quest completed.
I parked the account near some volcanic ash and mined a whole mining level with it, so I have a ton. In between pretty much everything in the video, you can assume I'm doing a farm run to use it up. Now that I can make super compost and ultra compost. The stack does bounce in and out of the looting bag at times though. The next two quests were Jungle Potion and Shiloh Village. I bought some earth runes to cast the Crumble Undead spell and picked up everything else we needed for the quest. Jungle Potion is an easy quest, we just collect a whole bunch of ingredients. When I finish, it gives me a good chunk of herb lore XP. The next quest is Shiloh Village, but I honestly couldn't really tell you what it's about. What I remember though is getting some remains and putting some spirits to rest. There's a ghost guarding one, but we can safe spot it easily, and then the quest is complete. The reason I did those quests was so I could access Shiloh Village for the gem mine. I have a feeling it's going to be horrible crafting XP, and I'm going to find a different way to level crafting, but I wanted to try it. We'll need to do the quest later anyway for access to Shiloh Village, so now's as good a time as any. I wanted to get a run in for the day, so I ended up doing 2 miles at Guardians of the Rift, and then I AFK'd at the gem mine in Shiloh Village. The account is progressing rather nicely, and I'm happy with our progress. Alright, so like I thought, the crafting experience from Gem Rocks was pretty abysmal, so I'm gonna do the Giant Dwarf, or at least start it, because I think I found another crafting method I could try. But the good news is I didn't have to finish the quest, I only have to start it to get access to the blast furnace. I'm going to be repairing the pipes there to get crafting XP. I've never done this method before, so I don't know what to expect, and I hope it's not too bad on the treadmill. All in all, this was a pretty long detour. I had to get 16 fire making and then hike all the way up to Keldagrim. So it took about 2 or 3 hours.
Yes! 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 No! 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 Oh my.
Okay, not gonna lie, pretty upset about that one. I usually check the requirements before I do anything, but I don't know if it's getting less sleep because of the baby or what, but yeah, that feels kind of bad. Oh well, it's easily fixable though. My first instinct was to go back to Lumbridge and do cowhides. I'm at level 28, so I can make hard leather bodies, but if you'll notice at the bottom right-hand corner, I'm carrying a lot of weight. These cowhides are not light. They got even heavier after I tanned them for some reason, so I ended up having to carry 26 kilos in my backpack. Needless to say, I did not do this more than once. Instead, I decided to do the Nature Spirit quest. With the experience it rewards, it will get me to at least 30 crafting. Then I gathered everything I needed and headed back to the Mortania Swamp. All I do in this quest is help some big green guy in the swamp, kill some ghosts, or save a princess or whatever, I don't know.
Quest completed.
But it ends up getting me to 30 crafting and gives me an herb lore level too, so now I can head back to the blast furnace for crafting training. I ended up meeting a cool guy there named Shady who helped me just sit in one spot and spam click the pipes, so I didn't even have to be on the treadmill, I could just AFK this. I ended up pushing pretty far in the crafting, but didn't quite make it to 50 in one day. But that didn't end up mattering because after I went to bed and woke up, Shady was still on doing crafting, so he helped me push to 50. Here's our current stats. I'd picked up a water talisman and some rune essence to do the Lumbridge easy diary requirement. I decided after this though that I was going to wait until I hit 30 herb lore so I could use the XP lamp it gives me on herb lore. The achievement diaries give great rewards, but I want to be able to use the XP lamps they give on herb lore because we're going to need all the help we can get with that. So that's the main reason I've held off on those. Later in the episode, there's something I need 35 smithing for. So I decided to do Elemental Workshop 1 and 2. I have to carry weight for this because it requires so much coal. I only end up having enough time to do Elemental Workshop 1, and then gather the coal I need for the second quest. After that, I go back to the blast furnace to use the pump for strength levels. I need 50 for some quests that are coming up. And when I went back, Shady was still there. What a legend. Finishing Elemental Workshop 2 gets us to 36 smithing, which is perfect. I had to carry my backpack for some parts of this quest, but if I remember right, it was only about 3 kilos and it wasn't really that bad.
Quest completed.
I think my next AFK activity is going to be fishing, but I want the cooking level for both trout and salmon just in case, so I decided to go to the Sinclair Mansion. There's a spot where you can get flour for free right next to a sink and a stove, and I used these in order to get 20 cooking. It would put me over on weight, but only if I moved before I made the dough, so I just made sure to make the dough before moving back to the stove to cook it. After this, it was time to head over to Barbarian Village and do a little bit of AFK fishing. I ended up staying on the treadmill for most of it so I could cook the fish. It also wasn't as AFK as I thought because the fishing spots would move and I didn't really want to world hop to find another fishing spot. But we stayed until 34 fishing and 26 cooking. Then I stored some stuff in our looting bag. Here's the current state of it. One of the short-term goals I mentioned last episode was training prayer to 43. In order to do this, I wanted to use the Ectofunk disc and I needed the Ghost Ahoy quest completed before I could do that. There's one really big reason why I want to use the Ectofunk disc, but we'll cover that later. So I made sure my inventory was clear. Like I said, I stored stuff in the looting bag, and then I went and made the 9 dyes that I could possibly need. I gathered the rest of the things I needed and then headed to Port Phasmatis for the quest. There's this ghost named Necrovarus who lives close there, and I think he rules over the town, but he won't let the ghosts pass on to the next life. There's a lady who lives east of Port Phasmatis. With some cajoling, she tells me where to get some robes that will have power over Necrovarus. But Necrovarus hid the robes, and I need to find a map to lead us to another book that contains the instructions to get there or something, I don't know. So I end up getting the map, and then digging where it says to recover a book. But I can't read the book because it's in some foreign language, so I end up playing blackjack with Robin Hood to get him to sign a bow for the person who can translate the book. It's a lot, I know. After that, I decide to give Necrovarus one last chance. I walk around and get 10 people to sign a petition asking him to let them pass on to the next life. When he refuses, I mind control him anyway and then let the good people of Port Phasmatis know. I'm starting to feel like I'm pushing myself quite a bit though, and I think I need to take a break from running for a couple days. I've been walking a lot too, so I can feel it a little bit. I wanted to push myself to 52 rune crafting though, so I do that while walking instead of running. I'm not going to run for a bit. I did another farm run after Guardians of the Rift. We're looking pretty good levels-wise, and I think we have enough herbs to hit 30 herb lore. A lot of my herbs were stored in the looting bag, though, so I had to go pickpocket guards until I died. And while I did, I found some interesting animations. Honestly makes me think of The Thing by John Carpenter and wonder a lot about the Varrock guards. Alright, death pile accomplished. I grabbed a looting bag from the Ferox Enclave as well on my way. I can't pick up everything in the pile though because it was too big, so I need to go to the wilderness and store some of the stuff in the looting bag so I'll have enough space for everything. That way it doesn't despawn. Everything at the top half of my inventory besides my cash stack will be deposited in the looting bag. It's mainly just herbs and seeds I can't use yet. I had some problems on my way to deposit stuff into the looting bag though.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Yeah, my connections have been spotty all day. It's something with the servers. Guess that's just my sign to go to bed for the day. Alright, so time to sort the looting bag and all of our potions out. So I'm going to go to the wilderness and deposit some things. Then I made all of my herbs into potions. And I learned that I should make potions at the Grand Exchange because there's a nice guy there who will decant all of our potions and make them stackable. I didn't think about it this time, but from now on, whenever I make them, I will be making them at the Grand Exchange. I did one more farm run, made some more compost potions, and then cleared out my inventory by storing stuff in the looting bag in order to do the Shades of Morton quest. This is what our inventory looks like now. I had to get rid of a lot of things because the quest requires a lot of open inventory space. Then I could head back to Mauritania to the town of Morton. There's some shades that have been plaguing the town, and everyone's turning into zombies or something. There's a diary here that tells me how to make a potion that will turn people back to their human form. Basically, I go all Ghostbusters and kill a bunch of the ghosts, fix up one of their temples, bless my potions to be better so that they'll permanently heal people, and then finish the quest. Now I have 30 herb lore too. The XP lamps from Easy Diaries can only be used on skills level 30 or higher. That means I can start doing them, so the Lumbridge one is a good place to start. I do the various tasks and then lamp our herb lore to 32. I started the day off by doing some fishing and cooking. I got to 39 fishing and 32 cooking. Here's a quick peek of our stats. I also decided today was the day I was going to get 54 rune crafting. My left Achilles was bugging me, so I ended up walking for all of it, but it didn't end up taking longer because I got enough points walking to get the bonus experience for every Guardians of the Rift round. In order to craft law runes though, we need to finish the Troll Stronghold quest. I want 43 prayer before we do this, so that's our next goal. Because I was so sore though, I decided not to push myself and just wait till tomorrow. To get the bones I needed, I'd kill dragons in the Taverley dungeon.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come.
Oh,
here
got
I
my
come.
tooth half of the key. And I got pretty lucky in the process. Crystal keys are a guaranteed dragonstone, but that does mean I need 80 crafting in order to make an amulet of glory, so that's going to be a grind. Dragon bones also weigh a lot, so that's part of the reason why I chose the Ectofunctus. This was my workaround for their weight. I would kill a dragon, start the treadmill, drop bones until I hit -2 or 3 kilos, pick up the bones that dragon dropped, and then pick up the stack that I had dropped at the safe spot. So the reason why I chose to train via the Ectofunctus is I could teleport straight there with the Ectophile. I did not want to have to walk around with 14 kilos any longer than I had to. Once I got to the Ectofunctus, I would stop the treadmill and put on my backpack. The backpack had 14 kilos in it, so I would drop a dragon bone at the Ectofunctus. Then I would go upstairs and grind one of the bones into bone meal. This would leave me with 2 inventory spaces open, so I could buy a bucket and a pot in Port Phasmatis. I could just use the Ectophile to teleport back. Then I would make the arduous journey of trekking down to the slime pit to fill up the bucket, teleport back to pick up the bone meal, worship at the Ectofunctus one time, and then rinse and repeat. When my weight was low enough and my inventory wasn't quite so full, I would pick up more buckets and pots, but this was still quite the process. I would also pause the treadmill and take off my backpack as soon as I hit 0 kilos. When it was all said and done, I spent about an hour and a half at the Ectofunctus, not including gathering dragon bones. That means I walked about 4 miles to do this, and I would wager I had the backpack on for about 3 miles of it. But I did end up getting 43 prayer, and that was the goal I was shooting for. Ooh, there she is. The dopamine from accomplishing goals on this account is something else, I'll tell you. I'm very excited to have this level, and we're going to do a lot of stuff now that we have the protection prayers. Oh, baby, it's done. I have 43 prayer, dude. Oh, I can game. From here, the next goal was Troll Stronghold, so I went and stole 20 loaves of bread, got stuff to catch the 10 trout we needed. But during the quest, I had to make a small detour to finish some unsettled business that I had from the comments section. There's an item in RuneScape called the Dwarven Multicannon. It's a very heavy piece of equipment that's really good, but again, it's very heavy.
You turned her against me!
You have done that yourself.
You will not take her from me!
Your anger and your lust for power have already done that.
So boy, oh boy, do I have plans. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. I'd appreciate any comments or criticism you can give me. Videos like this do take a while to put together, and I just want to make them enjoyable for you guys. It also just feels nice to know I'm doing a good job. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next time.